Welcome to Charts Today. My name's David Linton, and today's edition for Wednesday, the 20th of February, comes to you from London. And we start by looking at the dollar. Markets generally actually rising slightly. We're seeing a lot of green in the screen here this morning, but the dollar did have a fall yesterday. We see that on the 60-minute chart. We fell away, just putting us quite firmly in bearish territory on the short-term chart. Medium term, we're still probably just having hold that bullish position, and long term still looking bullish. But nonetheless, the dollar did fall back yesterday, and we saw the euro as a result rising against the dollar. Against the yen, though, the dollar is still looking pretty strong short term. So this is normally a good signal for where we're going next, and I'd say that this tells us the dollar will probably recover. Um, Sterling actually jumped yesterday on that weaker dollar, falling away a bit today. And sterling also rose against the euro, so we saw a stronger day yesterday for sterling all round, and against the Swiss franc, and against the Aussie dollar also. Bitcoin is up just under 2/3% this morning, so looking a bit better, but really still a bit of a basket case, to be honest. The U.S. stock market rose very slightly yesterday. The S&P was up 0.14%, so we're just holding the gains really, and interesting that we're able to hold those gains. The Nasdaq was up slightly, not quite through on the cloud yet on the daily chart. So the picture is little changed. The same for the Dow and the Russell 2000 as well. Markets look set to open flat in the US today. The futures indicating very little change. The S&P E-mini down slightly, and the Nasdaq E-mini up slightly. When I say slightly, 0.02%. So really no big changes there. The FTSE 100 in the UK this morning is up about 1/3%. The 250 is up 0.12%, and the DAX is showing a rise of about 0.6%. So we are just seeing in Europe this morning a little bit of strength coming through. The CAC Quarante just coming out of the cloud here as well. Japanese market was up 0.75%. The Hang Seng was up 1%. So we're seeing that recovery continuing, and the Chinese market up 0.2%, so holding on to its gains. Looking like a real recovery situation potentially now in China. And we see the Sensex in India still weak in the short-term chart. The Aussie market down very slightly, but holding its gains. Brent crude is down slightly this morning, but it's flat. It's held the rise that we saw last week, and WTI is actually up. So we're again up by a similar amount as Brent crude is down, so little change there. US nat gas sitting steady at $2.67, looking a little bit better bullish. Um, on the short term. Gold has been a big story, massive rise yesterday, and we're really ploughing on ahead. We've activated that upside target 14.17. We're making now 10, 11 month highs on gold. Not much further to go before we start to make 6-year highs. We've just got to get through that sort of 1350, 1360 level. If we, of course, get to this target, we're going to see that. So gold looking extremely bullish at the moment, and silver following suit, now looking better on the short and medium term charts. Not quite as solid as the gold chart or for the weekly chart. US 10-year yields languishing at about 2.6%, and German bond yields, German bonds, the bond price is actually looking better. Taking a look at the individual stocks, here we're using Yahoo Finance. We see a sea of green here in Asia and in Europe this morning. The price is coming in there live from Yahoo. So we start by looking at the performers in the US. Wynn Resorts was up quite strongly. Amazon was up 1.2%. So we are seeing some of the tech bellwethers. On the downside, we had Electronic Arts down a further 3.6%. So they've struggled a little bit. If we look at the other charts, bellwethers, Apple was up 0.3%. So just really tech is waiting, pausing really. We see Facebook up 0.2%. Looking at the Aussie market, the best performers were corporate travel management up 14%, Emeco Holdings up 13.6%. Corporate travel, interestingly, they're finding quite good support on the cloud and on the long-term chart and medium-term bouncing, and we've got some targets to 10%. So we are seeing a recovery situation going on there. Bingo Industries up 12%, but not a great chart. Seven Gross Holdings, another good looking recovery situation there. So we are seeing that. If we go the other way around, we had Pact Group down 17%, looking terrible on the chart. Macmillan Shakespeare down 12%, and the Wise Tech down 10%, but the chart looking quite good. China, we had a mixed picture here. We have still got some big rises though. Sanan Electronics up 12%, so we're seeing improvement there. Orient Securities up 10%. They had big moves this week. And then on the downside, we've still got some pretty big falls. Down 2% down on Industrial and Commercial Bank, but the chart looking okay. In Asia, the Nifty 50, we got Vedanta up 3.6% after a really terrible 2018, but it doesn't really change the picture. Adani Ports also just breaking down as well, and Tata Steel also just lower there. Here we see the live prices coming in now as we speak. But not many stocks falling in India. Bharti Infratel down 0.8%. Taking a look at Europe, we'll start by looking at the UK top 100. EasyJet, the best performer today, up 3%. Lloyds Banking Group up on strong results, and so that's now a medium-term recovery. We've got an upside target here, some 33% higher, but we've still got resistance to break through. But we might be just seeing a turnaround in the relative. So Lloyd's looking better. Kingfisher undergoing is still up this morning, but not looking great, underperforming the Dow Jones by 35% on the relative. Taking a look at the downside, Sainsbury's falling on that merger breakup. The Monopolies Commission announcing they're going to block the merger with Asda, and that's really affected Sainsbury's share price, down 12% today. Morrison's down 4%. So supermarkets really all sort of falling in sympathy. So we're seeing quite a lot of big moves in the market today. FTSE 250, if we look at the best performer, Superdry, still has a lot to do to turn bullish, and same goes for Restaurant Group. Looking at the other end of the scale, Into Properties down 8%, so that's looking terrible. Hammerson also being hit, so property stocks seeming to have a bad day today. And then in Europe, just a quick look at the 600. We've got Gambia Holdings in Ireland up, and on the downside, we've got Sainsbury's leading those falls. That's it for today. Until tomorrow, happy charting. See you.